Hey guys, L132 here. Now normally T-Man28 does the Animal Crossing videos and tutorials, but this time I'm actually going to contribute to the channel. Since Halloween has basically been cancelled because of coronavirus, I was super disappointed. Like, really disappointed. But then Nintendo announced that they were releasing a Halloween update, which gave me the idea to, quote-unquote, uncancel Halloween. I decorated my island and my house, threw a big Halloween party with my friends, and then played some fun Halloween-themed party games. This video will be divided into two parts. The first will tell you how I decorated and planned the games, and then the second will be the advice I give based on having the party myself beforehand. Alrighty, now that that's all said and done, let's get party planning. Before I actually start talking about decorating your island, I want to talk about setting a date and time. Usually Fridays and Saturdays are the best nights to do a party because it's more likely your participants will be able to come, but it's totally up to you. And just a reminder, Halloween this year is on a Saturday, so I would actually recommend you just do it on the 31st, especially if you don't want to time travel. I had my party at 7 o'clock, but if I'm right, Halloween actually starts at 5 o'clock, so you can do it until then, and of course you can do it later than 7 o'clock. Again, these are choices totally up to you. Okay, since I'm done with that disclaimer, I'll move right into the actual preparation of the party. For decorating my island, all I really did was use the spooky items that the game gave me and use some custom designs for blood splatters and stuff like that. If you see a design you want to use in the video, in the description I will list the design codes for you. It wasn't too bad since I had all the DIYs, but if you don't, you may need to check your villager's house or hope you get those recipes and balloon presents. For my house, I used all the rooms to decorate it as a haunted house, but depending on how far you expanded it, you may have less rooms than me, and that's okay, just note you won't be able to decorate as many rooms. Each one of my rooms had some sort of theme, so for example, the main room was almost solely based on the spooky items, and my upstairs was a cemetery. I won't list every room and what each room had in it, mainly because that would take way too much time. Setting up the games were harder than I thought it would be, but hopefully it won't be too hard for you. My main event games were the trick-or-treat race, musical chairs, a costume contest, and a clue murder mystery, Animal Crossing edition. The trick-or-treat race was simple. I put out one piece of candy, one apple, one DIY, and one stone on two black wooden low tables. As participants would run around my island, they would have to grab one item. Each item had a set point value. If you weren't able to get an item, you would get 0 points. At the end of the race, I would give points to whoever was first, second, and third. Then, I would tally up the points to see who won. Now, to make things even more interesting, I made my participants wear the King Tut mask so they would constantly be tripping. Musical chairs in the costume contest was pretty standard, but just in case, I'll go over how I did these games. Musical chairs was super easy. All you really need is 1, space to put the chairs, 2, have enough chairs for your guests, and 3, have a handheld musical instrument such as an ocarina or a pan flute. Setting up the costume contest was pretty straightforward. I just decided the categories and set up some space. You can decorate it up like me, or just put some mirrors and fencing up. Note, for the costume contest, you can't change your clothes, so I would recommend using wand outfits. Now, the murder mystery was the most difficult by far. I might need a separate video to explain with full detail how I set it up. But for now, I'll try to explain everything with a time limit. The suspects were the people I invited, the places were the places I made, like my arcade and my movie theater, and the places the game gave us, like the resident services. And, of course, the weapons were the tools, shovel, axe, fishing rod, net, slingshot, and I added party popper instead of watering can for, well, obvious reasons. Now, this is important. Make sure you know who's coming to the party. It will save you the time of making cards and testimony around them. Okay, you heard me use the word testimony, and yes, I did make a witness statement for each of my villagers and all of the special villagers I knew for sure would be at my island. Testimonies made the game a whole lot more interesting, and if I had just used cards, everyone would be running to places, making accusations, and marking who it's not. The game would be over in about 10 or 15 minutes. I also put in rules when you can make an accusation. For example, you have to have found evidence, a piece of clothing, or weapon that relates to someone at a certain place. Okay, I'm done with the party planning. Now, I'll tell you the tips and tricks to make your party run smoothly. I strongly recommend the Nintendo Switch Online app. If you want to type in the game, it just makes it faster and easier. Well, I will admit, I did think more people would come. I guess my next tip would be to make sure everyone is coming. Especially for games like musical chairs and the murder mystery, it's better if there are more people, but having at least 3 will still make the party fun. You don't need to do this, but I actually started with a quick tour of my island and my house, just so everyone knew where everything was beforehand. I actually started with a couple of rounds of musical chairs first. I did this because I wanted to make sure no one else was coming without having to wait 15 minutes just standing around. The trick-or-treat race went pretty well. The King Tut masks definitely helped with making the game interesting. It was always neck and neck for first. I felt that the points were also a great addition because even though the person who got first won, he only did so by 1 single point. If someone else had grabbed a candy before him, they might have actually been the winner instead. For the costume contest and the murder mystery especially, I was coming up with stuff on the fly. I decided before we did the costume contest, it would be just funner if no one was judged and everyone just got to see who everyone was. For the murder mystery, you need to use a text message group chat. This is crucial if you don't want to reveal cards each player has earned through an accusation or what a testimony says. Using messages and texting in person a card individually makes the game last much longer. I guess my mystery was so hard, everyone decided to team up and share what cards they had at the end. They collaborated a bit, but only one person was able to figure it out. And of course, before your guests leave, make sure to take a group photo. It may not actually be you guys, but hopefully you'll remember the fun times you had at your Halloween party. Whatever you decide to do for Halloween, I hope you guys stay safe. From the semi-czar of Halloween, stay safe and have a happy Halloween! Thanks for watching, and consider subscribing for more on Animal Crossing and everything else Nintendo.